So I want to start with a question for all of you. All of you are looking at trends, food trends in different ways. And I want to start by talking about what you're hearing from eaters. What are they telling you? Eve is smiling, so I'm going to go with her.
What are we hearing from people is they want global flavors. They do want plant-rich foods. Often they want whole plant-rich foods, beans, pulses, legumes. But there's often this idea that people are just really hungry for their double quarter pounder burger. And that is not what we hear. We are constantly doing eater insights. And for many of the locations that we do it with, when it's a client project, Food for Climate League does some kind of client consulting and services, we have not heard that one time.
Really?
Yeah. So
interesting.
There's many more things I could add, but I'm sure that other people have seen something similar.
From our customers, we're hearing that people are not wanting to eat as much meat. They're still eating meat, but they want to understand how they can add other plant-based proteins to their meals. And they are interested in global flavors. And, we provide Indian flavors, but a lot of people don't have the expertise to make Indian food. They don't have the time to make it. And so they're trying to figure out how they can make Indian food quicker and more convenient for themselves.
I'm wondering why they say they don't want to eat more meat. Or they want to eat less meat, is how you phrased it, I think. Why are they telling you? What are the reasons they're telling you that?
I think that it's just, generally I feel like people are thinking that if you're eating more meat, it's just not as healthful for them. And so they're trying to look for ways that they can still eat protein, but not be, more plant-based.
Got it. Rachel?
I think people really want things that taste good. And I think that they want things that are a little bit nostalgic now more than ever. So I think tasty is number one. I think more clean labels because they want to actually understand what they're putting inside their body. But on our side, just because of like the convenience store, we're seeing a little bit more meat in the sense of jerkies and meat sticks and people looking for tallow chips and things like that. So again, I think it's more from a standpoint of like a clean single source of an ingredient versus a lot of things that are in a package that they don't know what it is, but it has to taste great and deliver something, because I think we've been pushed so much lately on it's going to make you feel this way, but it doesn't. So now like the false advertising of that, people are a little bit apprehensive of like what they're doing. So they want to know.
Right. I feel like a lot of folks, maybe 5 or 10 years ago would look at a clean label, as you mentioned it, and think that is not tasty. I don't want that at all. So that's really shifted.
Thank you.
Do you want to comment on how, that shift in what you've seen?
I think that it's just more of it. Again, I think it's clean because we've been educated a lot more on the type of oils. I think the rise of social media and TikTok and trends, people are trying things differently. And I think that because the innovation around ingredients is there for a taste, I think the healthy, it's too granola-y, I think it's now gone. I think the standard process is, I need this to taste great. And I think the way that more people are, if it doesn't taste great, it's like, is it a stevia bomb or a monk fruit bomb or something along those lines? But I think there's also a conversation around, again, ingredients people know, but they want it to be taste good if the package looks good.
Sure.
Can I just add
of course.
to this really quick? What we're seeing is really two different things. One is this just desire for something joyful. The world is a lot right now. Yeah. And people are looking to food for joy. So global flavors in many ways is nostalgic. It is joyful. It is traveling without getting on the airplane for many people. The other thing we're seeing is an abundance of fear and extremely high levels of anxiety and fear of food. And to me, when you ask that question about simple labels, I feel like that's a lot of it. It's just like the world feels so out of control. I want to understand what it is that I'm putting into my body.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Drew.
think also,
go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
I think also people are looking for comfort foods, but they don't want heavy comfort foods, right?
I think there's an element of taking some control back to it. People want food that they can express themselves with. Taste, of course, is paramount. Affordability is paramount. But really showing, people want food that they can explore, that they can dig into, that they can really feel like they're putting their own unique spin on it. There was a stat in a recent Pinterest report about how the at-home cafe searches have increased by 6,000%. People who are wanting to build that at-home cafe, they're bringing
nice.
these outside experiences into their own world where they can take that, they can make it their own. They can put their
Right.
own unique spin on it. The world is crazy, and you can't really control much in your own life,
Right.
but food, for most people, is a place where you can still find some joy and your own sense of security.
Yeah, and we heard at the beginning of the summit, about Gen Z and how they think of food really as an extension of themselves, part of their
Absolutely.
personality. So having that unique spin is really part of who they are.
And that's a unique thing about Gen Z across the board. They want to make things their own. They want to find all these different pieces that they see other generations leaving them, and they can pull them in together to make it their own unique perspective. And food is one of the ways they can do it. It's hard for Gen Z. They're cash strapped, they're time strapped, they're
Yeah.
in a world where their careers are changing in front of
Yeah.
them. Food is this expression, and it's amazing to see so many of them go online into food creator roles too, to really just show the joy that can come from that.
I feel like I've heard that they're also craving nostalgia, and if you could
Even the
also-
nostalgia they didn't experience.
right,
Like, yeah, it's-
exactly.
yeah.
Mine was nostalgia. Can we, Eve? Who
Yeah,
wants
well,
to-
no, I mean, I think that this is an area that I've been doing research on for a very long time, which is the why behind the rise of foodie culture. And this is even a decade ago, we were already seeing that people were craving simpler times, right? And that was just with the start of like Instagram and the iPhone. Okay, well, now we have AI. and there's just such a bombardment of really scary things.
Right.
And a future, when you look at anything futuristic, like any video game or any book, like it's not great what people are really painting a picture of for the future. And so can you really imagine growing up in this environment? I mean, it
Yeah.
makes sense to me that you want to like celebrate scrunchies and like
Absolutely.
80s colors, because that seems way more fun than what people are really talking about and surrounded by on a day-to-day basis.
Rachel, the media is shaping a lot of this too, right?
Yep. And I think it's more of also looking at it, there's this increase of celebrityness at the same time. And everyone is talking about food, and food is an affordable luxury that we can all kind of connect and relate with.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not a $100,000 handbag or a pair of shoes these days. It's a $5 candy bar, or
Right.
it's a $2.99 probiotic bubbly drink
Right.
that everyone is drinking. So I think there is like media is like building that and like sharing that, but I think you also see an increase of like celebrity and like content creator community that is also making it easily to accessible from food, because other industries don't have that because the price point is too high for that Gen Z demographic.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to comment on a few words that I've heard. I want to say what you've said before. The world is a lot. So I think the fear, the control, but also the comfort, the need for nostalgia, the need to explore global flavors, and then sort of what Rachel just said about affordable luxury. Some of these things seem in sort of opposition to one another, and it's very confusing. I wonder if we can unpack that a little bit.
Where do you want to start with that?
I mean, it just seems very contradictory. Like, why we want to explore, but we want to feel safe.
But I think it's exploring with your taste buds. And
Right.
again, like content creator community that we're living in with social and like just Instagram and TikTok, you're able to connect with people around the world and eat what they're eating. So it is more affordable because you have at your fingertip a global destination and a global
Yeah.
like audience in the community that you're learning from.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like also part of like the fear, I think, because we're consuming too much.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
at the same time we're consuming too much, what we can consume at more of a level that is more affordable
Yeah.
is food.
Yeah.
And you can make it at home and you could add a twist to it and you can try it and have people come over and be like, does it taste like what you
Yeah,
traveled
yeah,
to?
yeah.
But you don't have to buy a plane ticket to
Right.
go.
And
On that,
yeah,
on that point, Chitra, I was wondering if you can talk about how you're partnering with different retailers and companies to help people explore the world, to explore India in a way that they can't, do right now.
Yeah, I mean, we have a partnership with Blue Apron right now, and we sell a very traditional Indian condiment called achar. And the difference is with our achar is that it's 75% less sodium, and but it's not very known to people that are non-South Asian.
Can you
and,
just
oh,
start?
yes.
Yes.
So, so I mean, achar, if you've ever had it, sometimes it's called Indian pickle, and it's like spicy and
So
savory
good.
and sweet, like all these different flavors all at once. It basically makes everything taste better. But when I was beginning Brooklyn Deli, I would be sampling it and people would be like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like I can put it on this, I can put it on that. But then we realized that when it was on like a store shelf, nobody knew what it was.
Right,
So it was really hard for people to discover that. And so the partnership with Blue Apron has been amazing because the chefs there have really just taken to our flavors and have put them into contexts that are not just Indian. So they'll take the achar and mix it with mayo and put it on a burger. So it's showing you that, you know, you can really take these flavors and not just have them for an Indian night, but you can also use them any day of the week.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think subscription boxes are really expanding people's palates. Eve, can you comment on some other food trends that are helping expand our palates?
Oh, helping to expand our palate. I was going to go to the protein craze, but I
You
don't
can
need
go
to
in.
go there.
No. Go into it, and we can come back to this later. Protein's crazy right now. Protein and like, I don't know, sodas and stuff like that.
Protein's terrifying.
Yeah.
But I was going to connect it to this like dichotomy of wanting to explore and then also feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've been really digging into what is behind this protein craze. It doesn't make any sense. No one needs to be eating 150 grams of protein a day unless you are weightlifting for 4 hours, in which case, good for you. But it's really this question of like, well, where is this coming from? And we have been digging into this. And I you know, there is no like smoking gun here of like who has started the protein craze. A lot of this though is coming from this place of like, I don't feel good. I want something that's going to fix me. And there's a lot of influencers out there, both on the vegan side of things and on the animal protein side, who are saying, I have this amazing diet. It includes 150 grams of protein, et cetera. Buy my cookbook, buy my things. This will fix you. And a lot of this is really coming out of people's just search to feel well.
Yeah.
And in that search to feel well, I think there's also this desire to splurge. I mean, a lot of what, Rachel, you're talking about is grocery flexing. And honestly, like what you provide, it's an opportunity to do grocery flexing because you can take something that's kind of the normal, mundane, and like spruce it up and make something cool. Like you were just saying, this is what everyone wants to do. And so it's like you can hold these two feelings at the same time.
Yeah.
Human beings are very complicated.
They're very complicated. So let's continue with all of you on that sort of note. Do you think that today's food trends, you know, whether it's protein or fiber, align with sustainability and wanting, you know, a better planet? Drew.
I hope so. Not always. I think that there's a lot of work that brands and big companies need to do in order to advance some of these sustainability objectives so that consumers can still get the quality of food that they want and the type of follow the trends that they want, but not feel like they have to be in the driver's seat of everything. Consumers, we as individuals can only do so much in terms of sustainability. It's really, I think, incumbent on the brands and businesses out there to do more, to advance more regenerative practices, to focus on healthy soils, to really be clear in their supply chain about what the work that they do, so that then when consumers are exploring, when they're trying new flavors, when they're doing taking the opportunities that brands are giving them, they can feel good about it.
And Gen Z wants that story,
They do,
right?
yeah. I mean, Gen Z is really struggling right now between wanting the sustainable options, but also being able to afford it. So again, I think that's where big brands have the opportunity to really come in and lead that charge. Because also right now, I was reading a stat, 74% of Gen Z thinks that big food brands are just greedy and out to make money. And so they're not connecting with them in a really meaningful way. So huge opportunity to, one, make sustainability gains, and two, just build trust with these audiences that are still coming online. And there's a real chance to build a real relationship with them.
Right. Rachel, you're working with smaller brands that are usually mission driven.
Yeah, and I think it's something that is basically just like a pillar that you need. It's just like to be more sustainable, but I think it's also at a cost that at the end of the day is the consumer ready to pay for yet. And I think we just did a 150 consumer insight study with Highlight, and one of the major things was like, how do you feel about sustainability? And majority of them were like, yes, I want to pay more for sustainability. But then when it was a product that say the packaging wasn't sustainable, then they didn't assume it was sustainable.
Yeah.
And so we're still in this phase right now that I think the package needs to be the one that leads the conversation, because then they're still unclear of like, what is regenerative, what is upcycled, what are all the words that we know and we love so much, and we know that it tastes and is impactful of not only our health, but the soil health too. But consumers are, again, getting bombarded with everything. I need more protein, I need more fiber, I need more this, and like now I need sustainable. What is regenerative? What is upcycled? So it's hard. So I think, yes, young brands are trying their hardest, but it's also in today's world with supply chain, like ingredients have never been more expensive. Like it's just hard.
Yeah, it's
and
very
I think
confusing.
people want it, but it's going to continue to take time, and
Yeah.
we're still making good progress. And I think that that's like something we need to celebrate, because otherwise we're doom and gloom. But like,
Absolutely.
let's celebrate the wins we've had and only continue to push it forward and not say they don't like it, because they are. And I think we've talked about this a lot.
Yeah. I want to add on to this, because it really depends on what you're talking about when you say sustainable food. Because I think oftentimes when we say it's sustainable products, people think, oh, it's expensive, it's going to be on a shelf. Okay, rice and beans is sustainable. A peanut butter sandwich is sustainable, right? This doesn't have to be something that is inaccessible to folks. And I think that, so Food for Climate League, we work on narrative change. What's narrative change? Just change the way you talk about this in order to make it more appealing. And oftentimes we find, especially with food service operators, the people who control what food is served, they think it's expensive, nobody wants this. Then you look at the biggest food trends. I just had to lead a training for YouTubers, which was very fun. And I had to look at what were the top trending dishes on YouTube last year. There were no meat dishes. It was dense bean salad. It was this smashed cucumber salad. It was also Travis Kelce's mom's cookies. But I mean, everything there was, in my book, pretty sustainable. Right? And I do think that this is a misnomer. Food culture is continuing to bend in a more sustainable direction. Are people going and spending $2 more for a box of something that says regenerative on it? By and large, no. Are they looking for things that help them to feel well, that are celebrating diverse, what Dorothy was talking about, a diversity of flavors, of textures, of colors? Yes, because that's also delightful. It's just not because it's saving the world.
Absolutely. Chitra and Drew, I want to end on what kind of messaging you think is most effective, so that the next time eaters are in the grocery store, they think differently about foods. They think a little bit more carefully without that confusion and fear.
Well, I mean, for us, it's just that since we are an Indian food brand, there's so much ancient wisdom that is baked into the products that we're selling.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times when people talk about innovation in the space, it's about food tech and things like that. But I think that we need to start looking inward at what has happened and, you know, what we've learned from the past.
Right.
in a
That food
sense.
is medicine.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Drew.
I think we've seen a lot of success on messages that are really connected into everything feels personal. We've gone from a world of where brands are trying to change the world to now where brands are really changing a specific part of the world. So leaning on messaging around, of course, like tastes good for me, feels good for my community, good for farmers, those core messages, that's what, you know, sustainability is going to drive everything on its own. You have to have a good category claim first. You have to be a good product, good brand. But then those claims, building on local support, connecting to what matters to people, that's a big multiplier effect in terms of what's going to really make a difference.
Absolutely. We have about 2.5 minutes left. Do you have any quick tips, advice for consumers that you all want to share? Like, you know, just something easy but impactful. Anything come to mind?
Sure. Really easy way to be making your burgers more sustainable. 50% meat, 50% veggies. It's the simplest thing you can do, even with your family members who are like, no, I absolutely have to have a burger. We do this also with turkey burgers. They usually don't even know.
Yeah, exactly. Chitra, you were nodding before.
Oh, I just feel like, you know, if you take one night a week and just make a plant-based meal, maybe it's Indian, I think that makes a huge impact.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's delicious.
I think there's also a movement towards single serve, and that's just because of COVID, that at home, just get the family style and then put it, family size bags, and then put it into reusable packaging for at home or for in your bag, which things that we've educated on. But I think because we've been in such a shift for this past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
That some of it goes back because people are still scared to put their hands in the same bag as everyone else.
That's smart. That's smart. Great.
I get
Drew?
bored with my food, so I try to just make my leftovers something completely different out of it, just to
Nice.
put all kinds
Yes.
of different spins on it to make it as unique as possible, so it feels like a whole new meal.
Nice. And then you put it in your freezer and
Yeah.
you have it for later.
Yeah.
What a great panel. Can you give them a round of applause, please? Thank you all so much. Thanks for being here.